up? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm doing a very long overdue video. It's the baby items that we love or baby items that served their purpose for my son. But these items worked for us and our son, and he loved them. And even if us as the adults didn't care for them as much, in a sense, you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, my son enjoyed them, so that's honestly all that matters. I do want to say sorry in advance for the background noise. I'm filming in a bigger room right now. This is in our house. We're still with family. Our house is close to being done, so hopefully I'll be filming and editing more soon. But there's a fish tank in the background. The air conditioning's on, so yeah. I would film in the kitchen where it's a little bit quieter, but it's right next to the room we're staying in, and the walls are super thin, and I'm afraid my son will wake up. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I have the list on my phone. I have 12 items. They're not in any specific order. I'm just going off what I wrote down at the top of my head at the time. A couple reasons why we like them, why they worked for us, and yeah, that's literally the gist of this video. So to start off with, we loved the Mamaroo. Well, my son loved the Mamaroo. I liked the Mamaroo. My husband tolerated the Mamaroo. It served its purpose for sure, but the only two things like that were kind of negative about it is the actual machine was loud. Actually three things. The cord to plug into the wall was kind of short, and the base that it sat on had a speaker. It had the different settings for speeds and motions, but the speaker itself for the lullabies that it came with was not great quality, which luckily it was gifted to us at our shower, but the price that you pay for it, I just feel in general it should be a little bit better quality. But the machine itself kind of feels cheap in a sense. If you have one, maybe you know what I'm talking about, or maybe it doesn't bother you that much. It is easy to clean, which is great. We love that. But again, the speaker sucked. The machine itself was loud, especially the faster it went up to like 5 different speeds. Yeah, the cord was short. It was like a 3-foot cord, so wherever you plugged it in, like it had to be right there by the plug-in. What was cool about it though is, again, it had the different motions. It had like 5 different motions. It had 5 different speeds. You could Bluetooth, like hook up Bluetooth from your phone to the machine. You could control the machine from your phone through an app, and you can also play like lullabies or music or whatever through the machine from your phone through the speakers of the machine. So I mean, it's a pretty cool machine, I guess. The concept of it is great. Those are just like a couple of the negative things that we just didn't care for. For the time that he had it, it was a good machine, I guess. He had it until he was about 6 months. He outgrew it. It did have a mobile at the top that attached. It didn't spin or anything. When he got old enough, he could reach and actually hit the little pieces, and it would twirl and stuff. It was like a mobile with 3 different like foam balls in it, and each side had a different color. Honestly, I think on all of them, it was like black and white on one side, but then on the other side, there was like a blue and white, there was a magenta and white, and then a yellow and white. So I think it was just visual sensory purposes. And again, when they get older, they can reach up and hit it. It didn't actually move on its own though. My son loved it, and that's all that mattered. So moving on. The next thing was the Boppy. So I honestly didn't like this at first, and neither did my son. It was gifted to us at the shower. They do have cheaper alternatives. That's another thing I want to point out with things that I list here. There are cheaper alternatives. At first I didn't like it breastfeeding wise. I couldn't get my son comfortable on it breastfeeding wise. It was honestly just kind of an inconvenience when breastfeeding. It wasn't comfortable for the both of us. But the older he got, we used it for tummy time. We used it to prop him up in the bed. So it worked for those purposes. And honestly, I thought right before we decided to keep it, he was about like 10 months. I thought we were going to give it away to a friend. We didn't, because he started actually using it. I would hang it over the side of his crib, and that's where honestly it stayed most of the time when we weren't using it for tummy time or back time. And just out of the blue one day, he just started pulling it into his crib and napping with it. He started, yeah, just using it on his own. So we love it now. He still uses it. He's actually napping with it right now. But it is easy to clean. And yeah, it was about 10 months that my son actually started using it. So just, you know, that's another thing, patience. Sometimes, depending on the child, I guess, or the baby, they don't love something immediately. And also you might not love it immediately. It may not work for you or for baby or for both of you at the same time. But sometimes you just got to give it a minute and just see if they grow into it or you grow to like it or whatever, because that's honestly what happened with him. I think it's just one of those objects where people love it or they don't. The same thing with the Mamaroo. I've read things that babies either love it or they don't. The friend that I gave it to, her son does not like it. The next thing we loved is the baby wipe warmer. My husband actually got it like a week or two after he was born. I honestly don't remember why exactly we went out and got it, but it just honestly, especially with your late night changes when the air conditioning's on, things like that, it just makes changing the baby's diaper a little bit more comfortable for both you and obviously the baby. Just having that warm wipe on their butt. I still have it. I still use it for my son now. It still works. There's no sense in throwing it away, but it, to me, was a good investment for the first 3-4 months of his life. In the moments of when they're so little and you're just looking for what makes baby comfortable, it helps you get through, you know, making them as comfortable and happy as possible. I would highly recommend it. There are cheaper ones or more expensive ones. We got ours from Walmart. It was like 30 bucks, I think. There's some on Amazon. So you can get one just about anywhere. I don't know, we liked it. So the next thing is the bassinet. This one though, I will say, definitely when you're doing the research for your baby items, whether it be on a registry or you're just gonna go out and purchase something for your child, I will say, do your research, look at the weight limit of things, because some things only go up to a specific amount of pounds. So like this bassinet that we did receive only went up to 15 pounds. My son did technically outgrow it by the time he was about 3 months, or he was pushing the weight limit at 3 months, so we ended up just giving it to somebody else. But we did like the bassinet for the convenience that it was maneuverable. Is that the right word? We can move it around, movable, whatever. It had wheels on the bottom. It was easy to take apart and clean. It was easy to put together. My husband did put it together, but it was overall just snapping pieces in the correct place. The bonnet part, or the hood, whatever you want to call it, that came up, you can easily pull that off and clean it. But yeah, it was small enough to fit almost anywhere. You were able to roll it around. It was pretty light, so you could pick it up if you needed to. I do wish it would have went up to a higher weight, but again, I mean, it is what it is. He did use it. He was fine. He was comfortable in the time that he had it. I think this one, I did look it up at some point. I think it was about 70, 80 bucks, but they do have cheaper bassinets. And again, they have more expensive bassinets, whatever your preference. I definitely recommend just checking the weight capacity. If that's not an issue for you and you plan on after 2 or 3 months anyway, putting them in a crib, you know, more power to you. But I just know that I would have liked to use it a little bit longer. The next thing is our crib. So we have a crib. It's a 4-in-1. It was about $200, $220, somewhere in there. Pretty affordable in my opinion. It is like I said, it is a 4-in-1. So it goes from a crib to a toddler bed to a day bed to a full-size bed, all for $220, which to me is pretty good. We went with white. It was also gifted to us, I think actually right after the shower, if I'm being honest, but some family gave it to us, and yeah, it was the one, I think it was the one I had in my registry. But anyway, it's really nice. Right now he's still in it. I think it's 2. I want to say it's around 2 that maybe you turn it into a toddler bed, but right now he is 18 months. He's too rambunctious. I know as soon as I would turn it into an accessible toddler bed for him to climb in and out of, he'd never go to sleep. I think honestly it's around 2 anyway, but don't quote me, I don't know. The next thing is the Dock-A-Tot. So we had the off-brand one. My parents got it for me. Well, actually they had it first, but then they gave it to me to use later on. It was off-brand. It was cheaper. They got on Amazon. We had one with like blue and white stars or something like that. It was really cute. Whether you buy the name brand expensive one or this one, which I think this was around like 40 or 50 bucks. You can use it for co-sleeping, use it for just kind of have it around the house wherever you go. It's just something easy for them to lay in, but also convenient for you to grab them out of, as well as just move around with you as you go. We did use it some for co-sleeping. When he got a little bit older, before he actually outgrew it, I think he outgrew that about 5 or 6 months. He got too long for it. We did like it while we had it. I did give that to a friend. And yeah, her baby, as far as I know, enjoyed it. So the next thing that we liked bottle wise was Dr. Brown's bottles. They had like a little green straw in them. Well, the ones we had a green straw. I think there's like some blue ones, some pink ones. You can get a couple different colors. We got a set. It had the newborn bottles up to like, you know, what he had around 1 year old. Was that 8 ounces? We did use the straw attachment from newborn to I don't even know, maybe 4 or 5 months. It's just basically there to prevent air bubbles and to prevent baby from getting gassy from sucking too fast, or you know, if you formula feed, from shaking it up and there's all those bubbles in there. It just keeps them controlled and out of the flow of the nipple, again, to prevent baby from getting gassy. They're pretty affordable. We ended up picking up a couple more on our own. From what I remember, they were pretty affordable, easy to clean, interchangeable nipples. I think we went up to like size 5, size 4, size 5 nipple. You can get those at Walmart. Pretty much everything on here you can get at Walmart or Target, Amazon, whatever's convenient for you. Bye Bye Baby. They are a little bit more higher priced, but I mean, just wherever you prefer shopping. I've also seen the Dr. Brown bottles at TJ Maxx. Obviously, sometimes it's best to check your products, make sure that they're new, they're not opened, you know, everything's sealed. I mean, yeah, you can sterilize them, boil them, whatever, but I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to things like that, so just definitely pay attention to your products, in my opinion. But I've seen them there. They're a little bit cheaper than what you'd buy them at Walmart or Target. We did get some of the Avent bottles. Weren't crazy about those too much until he got a little bit older. It didn't matter at that point whether, you know, there was air bubbles or not. He was able to, you know, relieve himself of gas on his own, and it just wasn't as crucial, in my opinion, as in the younger stages of his life. So the next thing is the sleep sack. So our baby didn't like to be swaddled. Ever since he was newborn, he just did not like it. I think my mom got the sleep sack first, and then she gave it to me. But just to me brought that comfort of knowing he's still warm, he's not swaddled, so he's not uncomfortable, but also he's not gonna, you know, potentially hurt himself with the blanket. The sleep sack that we had covered his arms. It was long sleeves. They have some that's like a tank top, I believe. And actually the one he has now, because he still doesn't really use a blanket unless he's napping, but at bedtime I have him one, and it has feet, it has arms. I can insert pictures here in a minute, but the one he had as a baby covered his arms. It was almost like a dress, but the bottom part of the dress was sewn up, so there wasn't any openings. It zipped, and I think they have some with buttons. I could be wrong, but the one we had when he was little zipped, and the one he has now zips, and he can actually walk in that one. It's easy to clean, and just a peace of mind knowing that, yeah, I don't have to worry about a blanket or him being cold, because he doesn't want to be swaddled and we don't want to use a blanket. So the one that he's wearing now, I got it off Amazon. It's from 1 to 3. I think the one he had was like from newborn to 6 months, something like that. If I can, I'll also link what we had down below at your convenience. I forgot to mention that earlier. Another thing that we enjoyed was the jumper. I purchased this myself. He was around 6 months, 5 or 6 months when I got this, and it's just something to help strengthen their legs and their back muscles as they're learning to sit up and, you know, crawl and things like that. The one we had hung from the doorway. They bounce in it. I think he would stay in his for about 15-20 minutes before he was just over it and tired. But again, it's just like great exercise for them. He did have a walker. Do I have that? I don't have the walker in here. We did like our walker. That's another, you know, leg strengthening, you know, working out exercise type of object for the baby. It was cute to see him bounce around with his little legs. It was easy to clean, was easy to put together. I think I got it off Amazon. It was like $27. So not too bad, pretty affordable. I think earlier I said that it was like strengthening their back. I guess in a sense from them like just being in the upright position, it strengthens their back. But I believe it's more for the legs because they are bouncing and, you know, spinning around and stuff. But I don't know, he liked it. I thought it was cute. I liked it, and super affordable, easy to clean, like I said. So I would recommend one of those as well. So the next thing was the Owl sit-up seat. So this is more for back support. I actually got a gift card from Bye Bye Baby from somebody. And I purchased this off of that website, and it was a little bit higher dollar. It was like 80 bucks, which is honestly kind of high, but he liked it. He didn't use it as long as the jumper. Well, okay, I take that back. Some days he would use it longer than the jumper, about 30 minutes at most, but other times after about 10-15 minutes, he didn't really want to be in it. But it just helps them sit up. It helps the back support. This one had toys on the front that you can also pull off. Again, I'll insert pictures and stuff. Again, there are more affordable options. I liked this one just because it did have the toys. It was a little bit busier. You can move it anywhere. The object was super light. And yeah, it was just, had a gift card, so yeah, I just put it towards that. So the next thing is more clothing wise. It was the mittens and the caps. So I really enjoyed those. Honestly, I enjoyed them probably more than he did, but I liked those for the convenience of when he was a newborn to about 3 months old, when I wasn't comfortable cutting his nails. So we would use the mittens a lot, especially when he was sleeping, because sometimes babies just tend to scratch their face on accident. Honestly, I think it was a little after a month I started cutting his nails here and there, but I like the mittens. It also kept his little hands warm. Yeah, you can also use socks. That's an option. We did use socks a lot. For the caps, we had newborn 0 to 3 month and 3 to 6 month caps, and that just keeps baby's head warm. Usually he'd just wear them when he was sleeping. He didn't generally like things on his head. He still doesn't so much now. He's gotten better at it, but awake, he wasn't really having it. Between, you know, with the hats, we had quite a bit of those. It was just the mittens. The ones that we did have, he outgrew pretty quickly. And honestly, about 3-4 months anyway, he probably didn't need them as much. They're pretty affordable. Yeah, you can find them almost anywhere, and usually you find them in packs of 4 or more. I think the most I've seen is like a pack of 12, and that was on Amazon. And then the last thing is another piece of clothing, and it's the ankle support shoes. So I really like those, especially when he was learning to walk. I just like the idea of just having that extra support. The shoes I did get him though, they were Nautica brand. I got them off Amazon. They were like 32 bucks, but they were slippery on the bottom. They were a little slick. Be careful with that. I don't know if maybe I should have roughed them up on the cement or sprayed hairspray on the bottom. I don't know. In dance, we used to spray hairspray on the bottom of our tap shoes, so we wouldn't slip on stage because the stage was sometimes super slick. But honestly, those are 2 different types of shoes, so I don't know. But yeah, just keep that in mind if you go to buy those shoes. But once he got his balance and control, he didn't slip as much, especially when we were outside and stuff or on carpeted rugged areas. I think the size I bought him was 3 to 4 and then 5 to 6, something like that. Now he's in some Adidas just Velcro shoes. I did get them a little bit bigger just because I want him to have them longer. That's another thing I guess I would recommend, is just sizing up a little bit with clothes and with shoes. In my opinion, I like the convenience of keeping something for as long as we can. As much as I want to buy him new clothes and shoes all the time, it's just honestly not ideal. And also, they just outgrow things so quickly, especially the first year of their life. I did like the ankle support while he was learning to walk, while he was new at walking. Now he's pretty much got it down. He still stumbles a little bit. He can be clumsy. I think a lot of toddlers are, but they served its purpose and they're pretty affordable. I'm actually giving them to some family right now, both the pairs. And also I like shoes that go with everything. So the 3 pairs of shoes, gym shoes that he's owned, have always been black. Again, easy to clean. We love that. And yeah, I think that's it, honestly. Again, everything that I just listed will be linked down in the description box below if you want to check it out. And just, again, keep in mind, every baby's different. Not every baby will love these things, and sometimes they may not love it at first, but you have to be patient and they'll grow to love it. And that's just what happened with a couple of our items. It made, in the moment, our lives easier, his life happier. If you have any suggestions or things that worked for you and your baby that you love, leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to see what worked for you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I might be able to film another video, so we'll see. But anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.